Okay, it is 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. I call this meeting of the Students Association to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Senator Markley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to roll call, Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Comfort, Dooley, Gibney, Hofer unexcused, Jensen, Campson, Markley, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins unexcused, Shell, Schmeck, Sierra, Spear, Sternhagen, Tennant, Vasquez, Wessler, Wisser unexcused, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Chief of Staff Sabo here, Vice President Bentz, President Peterson, AFA, AISA, unexcused, BSA, GSA, IRC, LASA, Unified Council, Unified Council, UPC, Dr. Schmidt, Dr. Grieve, and Dr. Willis.
Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Barnett. All those in favor of adopting the agenda tonight, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes tonight? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Government Affairs Chair Kennecke.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved. We will move on to open forum, item A, and we will welcome up Michelle Johnson for a master plan overview. Okay, just kidding, sorry. All right, now you're warmed up. We'll just move on to student organization constitutions. We have 2 to approve tonight, so first we'll welcome up representatives from the student chapter of the American Association of Bovine Practitioners.
Hello, everybody. We are trying to start a student chapter of the American Association of Bovine Practitioners. Thank you. Which is a national organization devoted to education for veterinary students and veterinary professionals in the field to be connected to continuing education and educational opportunities overall. The goal of our organization is to provide veterinary students with additional supplemental educational opportunities relating to large animals, specifically cattle medicine.
Any questions? Do we have any? Thank you so much. Okay. All right, can I entertain a motion to approve this constitution? Communications Chair Fink.
So moved. Second.
Communications Chair Fink, first right to debate.
So as somebody who grew up on a cow-calf operation, I think an association such as the Bovine Practitioners would be really beneficial to those on our campus who are looking to get into, I suppose, not just bovine medicine, but even like large animal medicine. I think this would be a great facet for SDSU to kind of get into. We have like pre-vet club, but this would be a further specification. So I think this would be something great for SDSU to have on our campus to advance students interested in bovine medicine.
Any further discussion on this constitution? Seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett,
Aye.
Brink, Derek Comfort, Dooley,
Aye.
Gibney, Hofer abstains, Jensen,
Aye.
Campson, Markley,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Pulse,
Aye.
Robbins,
Foxy, aye.
Shell,
Aye.
Schmeck,
Aye.
Sierra,
Aye.
Spear,
Aye.
Sternhagen,
Aye.
Tennant,
Aye.
Vasquez,
Aye.
Wessler,
Aye.
Wisser abstains, Diversity Liaison Garcia,
Aye.
Communications Chair Fink,
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo, aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the American Association of Bovine Practitioners Student Chapter Constitution is approved. All right, we'll do our next student organization club constitution tonight, and we will welcome up the Residence Hall Programming Council.
Michelle Johnson's here, and my president's not here yet, but she's in color guard. We're happy to see at the time to Michelle Johnson.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, we will go back up to open forum item A, and we'll welcome up Michelle Johnson for our master plan walkthrough.
Good evening. I apologize for my lateness. I didn't get the location and was hanging out in the Student Association office for a while, so it's a very nice little space that you guys have there. I appreciate the time and you allowing me to address the council. I am the coordinator for Title IX and Equal Opportunity here at SDSU. I've been in the role for 10 years. And have worked as a deputy in the same, doing the same duties for 5 years previous to that. I am here today just to give some information about the office, to discuss our communication and awareness campaigns, and to answer any questions that you may have. Last year, it was reported that some students maybe had some concerns about how to locate and use services that the Title IX and Equal Opportunity Office provided. So this year, we have taken a very intentional approach to increase the awareness of the office, what we do, and where students can report concerns. So first of all, I want to discuss what the office does, because I think that there is a little bit of maybe sometimes there is confusion about what services we can provide. Because it is Title IX and Equal Opportunity, we provide services for both violations of civil rights laws that fall under Title IX and those that fall under Equal Opportunity. There is a difference. Those that fall under Title IX are only based on gender. They include things such as sexual assault, dating, domestic violence, and stalking. Title IX is governed by the Title IX law, imagine that, and is currently kind of undergoing some changes. So in 2024, August 1st, some new Title IX regulations were scheduled to occur on a national level. Some states went to court, some parent groups and states went to court to put an injunction in place, preventing certain universities, certain states from enacting those regulations. SDSU is one of those universities, and so we are required to continue under the 2020 federal regulation. The office is mandated to provide support and services to students who not only experience gender discrimination, including all of the sexual violence categories, but also those who have reported to engaged in those behaviors. We have to be completely neutral because there is no determination, it's just an allegation. The other thing that the Office of Title IX and Equal Opportunity does is it responds to allegations of harassment or discrimination based on other protected categories. Those may include race, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, disability status. There's a large list that are protected. Those fall under a different policy and have some slightly different processes for dealing with those allegations, yet we have to respond just as seriously as we would to Title IX complaints. The office also works with employees. So we are an office that works with program participants, students, employees, the community. If they come up to watch a basketball game and something happens, we respond to those. Some things that we have done this year to intentionally increase awareness and communication. Every year, we do a presentation at what used to be called Thump Start. This year was renamed Yellow, Blue, and You. So we do a presentation to all students, all freshmen, incoming students that we can get there. That is on bystander intervention, but we also provide information about policies, and we very specifically talk about how to report concerns. We do new student orientation trainings. We have done guest speakers this year. We do a lot of handouts and giveaways, and I'm going to pass this around. I don't know that it'll make it all the way around. I saw you if it doesn't, but please feel free to take something if you want. This is how we communicate to students. One way is that we get some giveaways. I promise there's no mousetrap in there. But the point is to get students engaged. Everything that we hand out has the Lighthouse report link on it, so students can know how to report. They received an all-student email in September. Another one will be going out later this month. We have put up flyers in the Union, and we have put up flyers in the Wellness Center on the blue screens. In addition, we have made window clings. Some of you may recognize these. These are designed to be posted in the bathrooms in each residence hall, in the student union bathrooms, and in the Wellness Center bathrooms. We're also working on getting them in the academic building. Unfortunately, they weren't quite created correctly, and instead of window clings, they're stickers. So we had to make sure they weren't gonna harm property. But there is a QR code on here that students can just simply click, and then they can write a report. So if anybody wants one of these, I will send these this way. And feel free to take one if you wish. So the office always welcomes feedback. I've graduated from college a little more than several years ago. And, I don't necessarily always know the best way to communicate and reach out and talk to students. I try to get input, but I always welcome more input. I also welcome any questions that you may have. And again, I apologize, I was a little late. Are there any questions, thoughts?
Have you gotten any feedback so far about these new things you've been doing this year?
I've gotten a couple of comments about the window clings in the restrooms, and feedback has really been more in terms of increased reporting. So typically, I would say on average, during like August, September, October, November, kind of the busier fall months, I get about 30 reports a month. Now, please remember that I deal with employees. These are not 30 reports of sexual assault, not even close. There might be things like, I noticed that there was a swastika carved in a residence hall room door. Not okay, things we need to address. but I don't want an impression of all of these complaints being sexual in nature. This month, we've already gotten to 30, and we're only on day 18. So there has been increased reporting. Some of that reporting, sometimes through Lighthouse, some of the reporting might be, my roommate will not turn off their alarm clock. Obviously, that's not harassment or discrimination, but it's a concern for somebody. So those get forwarded to the Director for University Housing so she can determine how to address those concerns. Some of them are things that we very much have to respond to. Other questions?
For those of the people in this room that might not know, can you just like walk us through what happens when someone puts in a report? Like what your guys' office, what the steps and procedures are?
Definitely. So that's a very good question for anybody that didn't hear. The question is, what are the steps and procedures that take place after a report is filed? If a report is filed and we know who the complaining party is, it's not filed anonymously through Lighthouse, then we reach out to them, ask them to meet with me. I look into to determine whether the allegation, if taken as true, would meet the criteria for harassment or discrimination. And the process varies depending on Title IX and equal opportunity. But regardless, if it's Title IX, the complainant must sign a formal complaint. The complainant is the victim. They must sign a formal complaint before we can take action. That is required by Title IX unless we have thought that there is a severe risk to the campus community. And if that's the case, then what we do is sign a formal complaint. I can sign one if I need to, which I haven't done yet in 4 years because there hasn't been the need. If the victim or complainant signs a formal complaint, then we move it forward for an investigation. They collect all the information, the report comes back to me, and then it moves forward to a hearing advisor who is hired by the Board of Regents. She's from Sioux Falls. She's an attorney trained in being a hearing advisor, examiner. And she leads a hearing to which she makes a determination whether or not sexual harassment occurred. And then president adopts that, or if there's any significant reason not to, he would decline to adopt it, and then it moves forward for things. Equal opportunity is the same, except it doesn't go forward for a hearing. It comes back to me, and I determine whether or not harassment or discrimination likely occurred.
Any further questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
We will continue moving down our agenda to items, open forum, item C. Actually, I believe it's our HPC president here. All right. We will go back down to student organization constitutions, item 2, and we will welcome up members of the Residence Hall Programming Council.
Thank you, President Peterson. Residence Hall Programming Council started as a Residence Hall Programming Committee inciting of 2012. It's always been student-led. The goal is to support residential life large-scale programming efforts to provide students with unique experience for their fellow residents. Events include Candy Karaoke, Comedy House events, Winter Wonderland, and our premier Hobo Night Live. As regulations have changed, the need began to make this full-fledged organization, making it easier to support programming endeavors and collaborations. Housing provides us with a generous budget, so it is very unlikely we will need funds from the Student Association. Oh, I'm Emily. I'm the president of the RHPC.
Any questions for RHPC?
So how exactly is this different than RHA and how will you work together with them?
So RHA works with all residential housing. We just work with the housing on campus. We try to make it, RHA is more building to building. We just work with the 2,000 students on campus.
Any questions?
How many people are like directly involved with this position?
Currently, there are 9 of us.
Do you have any programs that you're gonna get up or have done already?
We just did our Winter Wonderland. We're doing our Winter Wonderland in December. We had our Hobo Night Live over Hobo weekend. And then we had a coffee house, and we were part of, for Halloween, we did a drawing raffle.
So what kind of attendance do you see at your events then?
Attendance varies based on like what we do. Today's Hobo Night Live, we had like 200 students, and then we had a coffee house, and there was also like 150. But like we do events like candy corn guessing, and that gets us a lot more numbers.
Any further questions for RHPC? Thanks for joining us. Can I entertain a motion to approve this constitution? Senator Markley? Senator Markley, first right to debate.
Yeah, it seems like RHBC is already very much involved around campus, and they're already hosting big events such as Hobo Night Live and Winter Wonderland that a bunch of students, from what I know, have been going to in the past few years. So I just encourage your vote yes.
Any further discussion on the RHPC Club Constitution? Seeing none, we will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Comfort, Dooley, Gibney, Hofer abstains, Jensen, Campson, Markley, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins, Shell, Shemek, Sierra, Spear, Sternhagen, Tennant, Vasquez, Westler, Whistler abstains, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Chief of Staff Sabo, aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the RHPC Club Constitution is approved. Now we will move on to open forum item C with our student organization reports, and first we will welcome up KSDJ.
All right, hi, I am Braden Byers. I'm the station manager of KSDJ, and with me is my program director, Matthew Wieberdink. Instead of traditional president and vice president terms, we use radio-specific terms that would be used in industry standard stations and everything like that. For those of you that don't know really a lot about KSDJ, on the surface, we're just basically the student-run radio station. But digging into the weeds a little bit, we are a full-service, 24/7 radio station that has an educational FCC license, and our main mission is to basically serve the community that is SDSU, and that includes faculty, staff, and students, and anybody that may be visiting campus on any particular day. I'll go ahead and hand it over to Matt to kind of talk a little bit about our programming that we have on the air and available in archive.
So the main one that a lot of you guys are going to be familiar with is that not all student athletic games, but things like basketball, volleyball, football, we're airing on the student radio. You'll hear them in the Union. Mostly, they will be on Main Street, but you mostly hear it on the second floor and through our live stream or on the actual radio waves. Since last year, we've also carried over some previous shows that we were running. One is called Democracy Now!, which is a daily show that just covers basic, politics around the country and sometimes internationally if there's a big enough event going on. The other is Acoustic Cafe, which is an independent run little just show talking about new music in the area. It's available for us to use. We're looking into adding some more. Those are reoccurring ones, if you want to call it that. On top of that, we also have our student-led ones. We have student volunteers who come in and run their own shows, usually on a weekly basis. Sometimes, if something comes up, somebody can't fill that. But we have multiple students doing that as well, and I don't think I'm forgetting any. I think those are the main ones that we have, and we're always looking to add more.
Yep, and he outlined mainly some entertainment content and things like that, but as part of our mission of public service over the past year, we've started adding in a lot more news and working along with the Collegian, which I am also the editor-in-chief of. We've been able to get a lot more news content on the station and available. And that is through things like our television newscast, the Collegian Report. We take snippets of that and put it on the air that rotate throughout the day. We have different podcasts that can focus on specific things. Like we have one called the Jackrabbit Sports Hour with hosts that have a really good pulse on the athletic department as a whole. And then one really cool thing that we've started to do this year is actually broadcast different events that are going on campus, particularly in the Union, but can do elsewhere, like the Students Association meeting. Pretty much every meeting so far this year has been broadcasted on the station and has been archived on our YouTube channel and website. And I've already been in contact with President Peterson about the potential of broadcasting the debates coming up next semester and really helping out getting some of the information about the Students Association election coming up next semester disseminated to the public here at SDSU. So overall, over the past year, I think we've done really good and had a really exciting year and made a lot of strides into kind of fulfilling our mission of public service. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions, if there are any.
Yes, I have one for you guys.
Yep.
Could you explain how Students Association and general activity fee dollars help you fund the radio station?
Yeah, for sure. So the general activity fee dollars that we do get from the Students Association go to pay our executive board of about 5 members. The rest of the people that contribute content are on a volunteer basis, but the dollars that we get from the general activity fee go into paying people like me and Matt on a monthly stipend, and that's the only thing that it goes to.
If I can add to that, that increase in funds that use of funds this year has been really, really helpful for us, because a lot of those things like the news segments that he was talking about and airing these SA meetings are only possible because of some of the people that we've been able to have hired on to staff. The person doing in the studio stuff for this meeting right now was a new hire, and the person doing a lot of the news stuff is also a new hire to this year.
Any further questions for KSDJ? Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you all again. And yes, if you didn't already know, these meetings are streamed. So if you ever would like to listen in on them or, have parents that really are invested, they can always listen to them. All right. Moving on to Student Org Report number 2, we will welcome up the Armed Forces Association.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Marissa Hansen. I'm the president of the Armed Forces Association. This is our advisor, Connie Johnson. And so I'll just give a brief overview about what Armed Forces Association is and what we do. So the Armed Forces Association is a military-affiliated club on campus, and we really are just all about supporting military-affiliated students, whether it's dependents, active duty members, Guard members, ROTC students. And we just kind of provide a space for them to come and meet other military-affiliated students, We hold a lot of fun events for everybody on campus for our meetings. We do bi-weekly meetings, and we are this semester trying to fundraise to create care packages to send to South Dakota deployed troops. And so that's kind of our main focus for this semester. All of our fundraising we put towards that main event for the semester. We request $1,800 every year from SA to put towards our Deadwood Retreat funds. And so we do an annual Deadwood Retreat for military affiliated students. And it is a 4-day trip where we go to Deadwood, have a house paid for out there, and do, what is it? We do like snowmobiling, skiing, just lounging around the house, having fun. We bring a counselor and do like military counseling, things like that. And just a lot of mental health stuff for military people. But we request $1,800 every year from SA, and that's what our funds go to. I'll let Connie talk a little bit more about what we use the funds for.
Hello, I'm Connie Johnson. I am the coordinator and student success advisor for the Veteran Affairs Resource Center. As I enjoy Marissa saying they lounge about the house, that's what every advisor wants to hear as you thoughtfully put together a mental health retreat for your veterans on campus. Yes, lounging indeed. So a little bit of a background, Deadwood started about 7 years ago. This will be our 7th year. We started it because we had about 3 students 3 years in a row that took their own lives. And we created a committee called the Warrior Wellness Committee that really focused on mental health and wellness for our military affiliated students. Deadwood Retreat came out of that. It's experiential learning in the darkest times of the year, which is the winter. So we partnered with Game Fish and Parks and the South Dakota Snowmobile Association to give our students an opportunity to try winter activities. If you mind sharing, who has ever ridden a snowmobile? Yeah, a decent amount. Let's say that you've never had the opportunity to be around a snowmobile, but it might be something that you really, really want to try. How do you do that? And so a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know somebody that has a snowmobile or even what to do in the winter months when you're all cooped up and you got cabin fever. So we provide an opportunity to try it. And so when we go out to the Deadwood Retreat, we do that. We offer snowmobiling activities. We do bring a mental health provider. So we switch activities. One group goes snowmobiling. The other group does participate in about 2 hours of mental health and resilience training, and then they switch. The funds are provided and raised. A portion of the funds are raised by the Veterans Affairs Resource Center through a golf tournament that we host in the spring. We provide about $5,000 towards the retreat. The SA funding that our student organization, the Armed Forces Association, requests does go towards transportation. We use that from our motor pool where we take vehicles out that transport our students down there. Our biggest goal is that no student does not go on the Deadwood Retreat because of any financial obligation. So we make sure that we cover all expenses for the retreat. So that way a student doesn't feel like they can't go because they can't pay $50 for rentals, skis, or anything like that. So that's basically the information regarding the Deadwood Retreat. Does anyone have any questions about what we're trying to do, what that would look like for the students? Yes.
Curious how much participation you see from the Air Force and Army ROTC components.
We're getting a few more and more. I think our biggest obstacle when it comes to that is because we do label it the Veteran Retreat. Even though it's open to any military affiliated student, whether they're a traditional veteran, they're currently serving in the Guard, or they're a dependent of, we do push the information out to your cadre and encourage participation. I want to say we had 4 ROTC last year. We even had some from DSU a year before that. Was that DSU? The year before that. So we do incorporate that. They come. It is a first come, first serve sign on activity. So if people come and they sign up when we put that information out, and we typically this year or last year, we had about 10 people on the waiting list. So as people fell out for various different reasons, we were able to put people in place.
Yeah. So as far as ROTC cadet participation in our other events around campus, we do have about I'd say it's only about 4 or 5 continuous members of ROTC that come to our meetings. A couple of our officers are JROTC cadets. We are right now seeing more Air Force ROTC participation, but it does kind of vary year to year based on the cadets that are coming. But right now, that's about the participation we're getting. Any other questions?
Thank you so much. All right, continuing down our agenda to open forum item D, public comments. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the Senate tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee and staff reports, beginning with my own. First of all, I wanted to inform you all that officially there is no meeting on December 22nd. Instead, we'll be taking a trip to the movie theater. We were unfortunately unable to rent out a whole theater due to showtimes, but for all of our senators, we will be paying for you to see a movie as well as for popcorn and a drink. So I will have a movie list for you available as soon as I can, and then I'll just need you to let me know which one you're going to so we can give the gala head count. So we actually only have 2 meetings left after this one this semester, which is really crazy. The only other thing I have to announce is that the Board of Directors met last week to set election dates. So I can officially announce the slate for President and Vice President nominations will be open on February 3rd, 10th, and 24th. And then debates will be held March 24th, and the election will be March 25th and 26th, which is a Tuesday, Wednesday. So yes, as Braden said from the Collegian and KSTJ, they will be streaming the debates this year, and the Collegian has been notified of those dates per our bylaws. End of report. We'll move on to Vice President Bentz.
Thank you, Madam President. And just to correct, I think it's December 2nd is when that party will occur, not 22nd. I saw a few concerned faces.
Yes,
around.
second, sorry.
We can come back to work. And a couple things that I have all for you tonight, also with regards to adding new people to our Senate. Ms. Dooley will be stepping aside from our Senate after this semester. I think she all deserves a round of applause for serving as a senator at large. But as such, we were required to fill that vacancy at the end of the semester, and that means another at-large selection process will occur from all of our board of directors members. I would pay specific attention to this, but also for the rest of the Senate, just to stay informed. On December 2nd, these petitions will open for students to take out a petition to become a senator at large on the SDSU Students Association. On December 13th, these petitions will close. On December 14th, that is tentatively when we have interviews planned for any potential applicants. And these new senators will be sworn in on January 13th. Now, this is a slightly earlier timeline than in previous years for senators being sworn in for the spring semester, and that's simply due to accommodate a later schedule for the academic term this year, as well as to ensure that any new senators would be able to go on our trip to Pierre for Students for Higher Education Day. And as such, just the kind of timeline this year, it just dictated that we start this process a little bit earlier while we're still here in the fall semester. So if you have any questions or concerns about that timeline, feel free to talk to me about that. But again, just so you're aware, that's kind of the timeline that we're looking at right now for our Senator at Large selection. The last thing I have for all of you right now is that I was informed that the Strategic Internal Communications Committee had not yet met. That's a shared governance committee, so that's overseen by the Provost's office, and Carla Howard is in charge of overseeing those committees. So I contacted her. I haven't heard back from Ms. Howard yet, but as soon as I do, I'll inform those people on that committee whether or not there was a meeting or if there will still be a meeting scheduled for this semester that you all can go to. But don't worry, I'm working on it. And then if there are any other committees that you have concerns about or that haven't met yet and you haven't already communicated those to me, please do so. I'd be happy to get to work on those issues. End of report.
Chief of Staff Sabo.
Yeah, so I have, as you guys know, I've been working on getting some new call boxes on campus as a possibility. So replacing our blue lights that we have on campus. I've met with a couple companies. We are working with UPD as well as facilities to see how much that would cost and if it's something that we are wanting to move forward on. So I will keep you guys updated with that. And then just a reminder for everybody that dress code for meetings is business professional. If you don't know what that looks like, please ask a member of exec, and we can help you out with that. End of report.
Finance Chair Peterson.
Yeah, so
if you look further down our agenda, you'll see that there are 2 funding recommendations from the Finance Committee that we will be voting on tonight. Obviously, we'll talk a little more in depth about those a little later. And then we will have a Finance Committee meeting this week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We have 1 special allocation request to review, and we will also review some general budget documents, and once again, that will be in the Pheasant Room. And then also, we planned our spring Finance Committee meetings, and we will continue to meet every other Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Government Affairs Chair Kennedy.
Yes, last Tuesday, President Peterson and I met with Mayor Niemeyer of the city of Brookings. We mainly talked about transportation initiatives and partnering with the city, what that'll look like going forward. And then the other thing I have for you is everyone, please get out your Outlook calendars and put in on January 26th is when we're going to Students for Higher Education Day. So we will probably leave Brookings about like mid-morning on Sunday, and then that afternoon we have a few meetings. And then that Monday we go up to the Capitol and hang out there, talk to legislators, things like that. We'll leave probably mid-afternoon and make it back in time for Senate that evening on that Monday. So as a reminder for the bylaws, you are all required to either go to SHED or a Board of Regents meeting. And there's no Board of Regents meeting in Brookings the remainder of the year. So this is a good one to go to and get that requirement filled. I'll be sending out an interest form soon to gauge who's all going to be in attendance for it. End of report.
Communications Chair Fink.
Yeah, so per usual, it's been the Rev report and website updates. Other than that, I've been working on getting apparel order filled. We had a bit of a problem with meeting minimum quantity for screen prints. So I'm gonna ask that if any of you ordered a screen printed item from the website, please come to me. We are gonna go somewhere else and get that order filled so we don't have to pay the rest of the pay for the rest of the screen prints. So yeah, just come up to me after the meeting, tell me what you got. We're gonna get this figured out. You guys will be refunded, so don't worry about that. And then I'll be going to a University Wellbeing Committee meeting on Wednesday, and then we will try to get a Senate Communications Committee meeting in for the remainder of the semester. End of report.
Diversity Liaison Garcia.
No report.
We'll move on to ex officio reports, beginning with AFA.
AFA was pretty busy last week for Warrior Week in conjunction with the Miller Wellness Center and the Veteran Affairs Resource Center. We had a few big ticket items. The movie night was pretty busy like it normally is. And then other events like the Iron Warrior weightlifting competition that the Miller Wellness Center really pushes for. We had a pretty respectable turnout. So that all went well. And then earlier tonight, we had a potluck and went over some future details such as our trip and report.
Thank you. BSA.
Last week, instead of having a meeting, we went to the bowling center here in Brookings, and we had a good experience there and also introduced some students who were new to it. Aside from that, we have a meeting with some students from the College of Journalism, and they'll be interviewing some of us, and we'll be attending one of their presentations.
GSA.
All right, not too much going on. Mostly what we're talking about is toy drive. We got paired up with LASA for the toy drive this year, so we're looking to schedule a meeting so we can bang out some ideas. And we're looking to do some fundraising out in the Union, looking at different things to sell. So far, I think we're thinking hot cider. So start looking out for that. And that's about it. End of report.
Thank you. IRC.
So IRC had a meeting with the Office of Multicultural Affairs, and we will be collaborating to host a Friendsgiving event on the 27th at the Office of Multicultural Affairs and Accessibility on the second floor of the Student Union at 12 p.m.
Thank you. LASA.
LASA had a very exciting week last week. We had a collaboration with Spanish Club where students could come in, make an empanada, they'd cook it for you, you got to eat, you got to meet with other students from another, similar club. Great turnout, it was super fun. I had like 3, only one of them came out good. Fantastic. End of report.
Unified Council.
IFC elections are through, and the new
IFC Executive Board has been elected, so next week will be my last meeting as we transition.
CPH has 11 applicants for the new executive board and 7 positions to fill. And then interviews and voting for the new team will take place this Wednesday, so next week will also be my last.
Thank you. UPC.
This Thursday from 5 to 9 p.m. in the VBR, we're hosting our Peyton Sip event where we'll be giving out mocktails to the student as well as doing a Bob Ross painting that's like a winter theme, I believe. So we have that for about 100 students. And then this Sunday is our allocation meeting for our events for the spring semester. End of report.
Thank you. We'll move on to advisor reports. Dr. Schmidt.
Good evening, everyone. We're getting towards the end of the semester, and as a professor, I'd fail you guys if I didn't remind you to make sure you get your grades going. There is a grade point for the student association, and so if you miss it, then there will be some ramifications. Hopefully, none of you are in that boat, but just remember to finish hard. We're getting towards the end of the semester, so keep that in mind. And it's getting to that time of the year where it's starting to get a little colder. And Grant, what do we wear when it gets cold? Hats. So you lose 50% of your body heat through your head. So when it's 10 below zero and I see all you students walking around without hats, it bothers me. Put your hats on, we'll stay warm. So say that to every Senate every year, you'll probably hear it again in the spring. Wear your hats, we don't want any frostbite. And lastly, I am going to, depending on the movie, volunteer to chaperone you guys. So you need somebody to watch over you so that it doesn't get out of hand. And so, yeah, depending on the movie. So I don't know what you guys have in store, but I'm assuming it'll be probably a decent movie. So, end of report.
Thank you. Well, I know for sure the 3 of the movie options will be Gladiator 2, Wicked, and Moana 2. If any of those are of interest.
I would vote for Gladiator 2 though.
Yeah, I'll know more, but we'll keep you posted, Dr. Schmidt. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Are there any committees I would like to report out tonight? Senator Pulse.
USAC committee met last Thursday, and 2 big things. Larson's will be getting a new manager, so that will hopefully help with all the problems with the stocking issues that have been going on in Larson's. And the market will also be getting a new manager, so that will hopefully help with Qdoba and all their stocking issues. That is what they have told me. And end of report.
Any other committees I would like to report out tonight? Senator Peterson.
The library committee met last week. Tuesday? We met on Tuesday last week. And we got to hear from Robin about the climate surveys. We went more in depth and discussed what we could do with them and maybe some improvements that could be made for the next climate survey. So if you have any questions about that stuff, you can ask me or Grace or Alex. End of report.
Any other committees I would like to report out tonight? Senator Vasquez.
Academic Affairs Committee met today, and part of the curriculum requests that came through that were passed were some new course requests such as contemporary indigenous issues and apocalypse as well. Class about apocalypse. Very interesting.
Last class you ever take.
Thank you, Senator Vasquez. Any other committees I would like to report out tonight? Okay. Seeing none, do we have any questions for any of the reports tonight? Dr. Schmidt.
We do have a question for the library committee. A couple of years ago, they had done a study where they were looking at expanding the library, doing a bunch of renovations. Have you guys talked about that at all and what the status of that is?
Senator Barnett.
We did a little bit. We haven't quite delved into that. We've covered a lot about the R1 distinction, and we've just dipped into this climate survey. But I'm not sure if this is kind of where you're going with that. We did discuss, I brought up 24-hour access to library, and we did talk about how in the past it's been looked at having a front section of the library kind of guarded off so students could tap in. That was rejected by the president and provost due to student health concerns, and the concern that students would be staying up too late studying.
So, there, from my understanding, it doesn't sound like any forward momentum has been made there or necessarily will be in the future. However, I know a lot of students who I hear from really want to see that, and studying is very important, and students are going to study regardless of where they are. But I think they were just kind of worried about tired students driving too. But that's kind of all we've talked about expansion.
Senator Peterson, do you have something to
I'm
add?
gonna add to that. So yeah, we did like bring up it was mentioned, it wasn't talked about a lot about the renovations, but we did talk about how the budget for that is not really, we don't really have that. So it's not necessarily something that's gonna happen anytime soon, but also we didn't elaborate a whole lot, so.
Sorry, Senator Shemek.
I will add to that. I think it was during our first meeting, we mentioned the plan to renovate the library, and I'm guessing we'll go over it in a future meeting in depth more, which hasn't been on our agenda quite yet. But from my understanding, it sounds like they actually have a plan drafted for library renovation, and they're just waiting for it to get approved. I think they submitted it for approval and didn't get approved this last year. Not sure how that whole process works, but I think they're trying to get the ball rolling at least. Hopefully we'll have more information for you in the future.
Dr. Schmidt.
Follow-up comment, this move to R1, strategically, this might give you guys some leverage with the administration. R1 universities tend to have their libraries open 24 hours, so, when we talk about moving to R1, we talk about getting more PhD graduates and the resources for research, but there's other aspects of it on campus that everybody needs to come up, so just keep that in mind during those discussions, as you guys move forward.
Thank you. Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Finance Chair Peterson.
I have a question for our SAC members. So I heard a rumor a lot that Larson's is closing out this semester. Do you guys have any information or any facts about that?
Senator Post.
I will address this comment. So, Larson's will not be closing this semester. They will be waiting until following the spring semester to start any renovations. We haven't talked a whole lot about the Larson's renovation, surprisingly, for some reason. And if I do find out any more information about this, I will let you guys know, but it will not be closing next semester. Don't be too worried. End of report.
Senator Shemek.
I know they've been talking about finding the temporary location for Larson be next year. Have they brought that up at all?
They also have not brought that up.
I had a hunch. Thank you.
Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Vice President Benz.
I thought I'd say something nice about the food service on campus right now. For our UFSAC member sitting right there, I was actually very impressed with Starbucks on campus this weekend. I went on Sunday, had myself a peppermint mocha and cranberry bliss bar. And they had a lot of stuff in stock, which has not typically been my experience with on campus Starbucks. I don't know if you'd like to bring that back to me. I have that positive note to add.
Very happy you were able to get a cranberry bliss bar. That's good news. Okay. Oh, good feedback. Senator Bowles.
That would be, so they recently replaced the manager of Starbucks with a new person. So there's been a lot of rearrangement with management, and so that would be probably the direct effect of that. So hopefully Starbucks is better from now on.
Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Senator Barnett.
Senator Paul. Have you guys received any feedback about the food truck?
We received one comment from a student saying that it was good and helpful, and that's about all we've heard about.
Have anything to offer?
I'm very excited about it. It's always very busy. I see a lot of families. So I've had a hot dog. It was very good. And my boyfriend, who's not gluten-free, had the pork sandwich, and he said it was actually edible.
We take what we can get. Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to unfinished business. Seeing as we have no unfinished business, we'll move on to new business. Item A, Amendment 24-2-A. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Amendment 24-2-A. Title of amendment reads, an amendment to the bylaws to reallocate a senator seat to the Van D. and Barbara B. Fishback Honors College. Prime sponsor includes Senator Shell. Sponsors include Senators Dooley, Derek Comfort, Pulse, and Gibney.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, we will vote on this at our next meeting. We will move on to new business item B, the Hospitality Club Special Allocation. Can I entertain a motion to approve the Finance Committee's recommendation? Senator Tennant. Senator Tennant, first right to debate.
So the Finance Committee met with a couple of members of the Hospitality Club on November 6th, where we funded them $1,500 to help cover their lodging expenses to their trip to Pierre in January. There will be 15 students attending for this 3-day trip, and we funded them for 2 nights at $50 per person per night per our budgeting philosophy. So how we came up with those numbers was $50 per person times 15 students attending 2 nights is $1,500.
Is there any further discussion on this special allocation request? All right, seeing none, we will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Comfort, Dooley, Gibney, Hofer abstains, Jensen, Campson, Markley, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins, Shell, Schmeck, Sierra, Spear, Sternhagen, Tennant, Vasquez, Wessler, Wisser abstains, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Chief of Staff Sabo, aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the Hospitality Club special allocation request is approved. Moving on to new business item C, Best Buddies New Venture Fund request. Can I entertain a motion to approve this item? Senator Sternhagen. Is there a second? Senator Sternhagen, first right to debate.
Yes, so the Finance Committee met with members of the Best Buddies Club. They have many great ideas for the university. They're going to be a great addition to the community here. Ultimately, we decided to fund them $240 to support their supplies, equipment, printing, and other costs they will incur while starting up this club.
Any further discussion on this new venture funding request? Dr. Schmidt.
I got a question. Why is this a new venture, not a special allocation?
Finance Chair Peterson.
Yeah, so Best Buddies came to me and they originally were gonna apply from the special allocation fund, and then they did some of their own research and they realized that they were they were qualified for the new venture fund, and being they had been an established club before, but after COVID it kind of died down, and so now they're trying to start back up. They are faced with the issue of having no funding, and they have a lot of ideas for fundraising, but the club is rather small and it's a pretty focused group of individuals that they're having trouble even meeting like requirements for athletic events and stuff like that and those fundraising. And so they thought if they could come and ask for some startup funds and then see where this year brings them, they will be offered to join our general budget in this next fiscal year. So just to have some funds and to have a little bit of a backup for what they may need.
Dr. Schmidt.
Just so that everyone was clear on that last part, the difference is in a new venture fund, that will go into the general budget. So they'll be part of the general budget. So all things being equal, and I know this isn't a lot of cash we're talking about here, but all things being equal, if you have a new venture, that means when you get to the budget, if you fund them for the same, everything else being equal, you're gonna have to cut something to get them into the budget. Now, it might work out through that budget process, but I just want, that's the difference between a special allocation and new venture. New venture goes into the budget perpetually, seemingly, unless you guys cut them out, whereas special allocation is a one-time only.
Chief of Staff Sabo.
I will say we also can zero fund them during that budgeting marathon. We don't have to give them extra money on that budget, so.
It's true.
Any further discussion on this new venture funding request? Seeing none, we will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink. Derek Hanford. Dooley. Gibney. Hofer abstains. Jensen. Campson. Markley. Peterson. Pulse. Robbins.
Foxy, aye.
Shell.
Aye.
Schmeck.
Aye.
Sierra. Spear.
Aye.
Sternhagen. Tennant. Vasquez. Wessler. Wisser abstains. Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Aye.
Communications Chair Fink.
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson.
Aye.
Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the Best Buddies new venture funding request is approved. Moving on to topics for future discussion. Are there any topics for future discussion tonight? Senator Shell.
So as you saw from the agenda, a new amendment got proposed for the new business. What this is really trying to do is give recognition to the Honors College that I believe it has deserved and earned, and add that for a senator's seat. Now, the Honors College comprises approximately 8 to 9% of our entire corporation, and while there are currently maybe some individuals on Senate who are in Honors College, there's no true representative for this large mass of students who may not be represented. And just recently, though, I discussed some concerns with the reappropriation from the graduate school that it is amended to right now. I understand that as we become a R1 university, we may want to see those positions be held. Where this decision was made from, and maybe up for future topic discussion, is that historically, in the last 5 years, both seats have been held only one time. And I believe, we're trying to represent the students of our corporation, and that to do so would be the reappropriation of one seat to the Honors College. Now, after speaking with several of you over the past few days, there's certainly alternate routes to amend this document during debate and on the floor, such as instead of reappropriating, instead just adding a seat onto Senate. And I'm certainly open to all those ideas. And as we go over this next week and it's mulled over, please feel free to reach out to me and contact me about any questions. And that during the debate next week, certainly speak up so that we can find common ground on this issue. Thank you.
Any other topics for future discussion tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. Are there any announcements tonight? Senator Sternhagen.
The College of Engineering had a town hall with the Dean of Engineering. We discussed several new construction projects going on within the College of Engineering, such as eventually adding on to the AME building, adding a new concrete industry management outdoor laboratory outside of Crothers Hall, as well as other projects going on with the department, such as adding new staff members to different departments, and also just strengthening the college as a whole.
Any other announcements? Senator Gibney.
The ROTC battalion was allocated roughly $17,000 to get our obstacle course back up and running. Part of those discussions included having leadership development courses for university faculty and potentially members of the wrestling team, football team, Senate, et cetera. As there's team building exercises as well as an athletic component built in there. So expect an invitation from the program in coming semesters for some team building exercises with a little bit of sweat.
Can't wait. Thank you, Senator Gibney. Other announcements tonight. Finance Chair Peterson.
Just a reminder, we will have a finance committee meeting this Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the Pheasant Room, and I will do my best to get an agenda out for that tonight for you guys to review.
Other announcements. Chief of Staff Sabo.
Council, if you guys could come talk to me after the meeting, that would be so wonderful. Thank you.
Any other announcements tonight? All right, I have a couple. So as you heard, we do only have 2 meetings left this semester. We'll have next week's. We will then have our movie night, which it will be during our Senate meeting time. So we will be counting that as an attendance at a Senate meeting. So if you bail, you're lame. And then also our final meeting of the semester will be December 9th, and the theme will be Christmas sweaters. So when you go home for Thanksgiving, please bring back your best Christmas sweater. We will see you next Monday, but I wanted to share that before I forget. Yes, Senator Sternhagen.
What is the dress code for the movie meeting?
Dress code will be casual. Thank you for that asking. We will not make you show up in suits and ties to Cinema 8. All right, any other announcements? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to adjourn? Senator Peterson. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.